It's true. I am a Hulk.
And action.
Jennifer Walters is an attorney who has accidentally taken in the Hulk's blood and has become
like a chick Hulk.
A She-Hulk?
Exactly.
She-Hulk, attorney at law. That's got a nice ring to it.
That name better not stick.
There's something so surreal and so funny about a giant 6'7" Hulk in the courtroom.
It was about putting a real human being into these absurd situations.
It's just like as cool and edgy as we can get away with.
Girl, your ass looks crazy right now.
It's something that you think you knew, which is law shows, and something that you think you know, which is Marvel shows, smashed together.
This show is so much fun.
It all has this tongue-in-cheek, self-referential thing going on.
In the comics, she broke the fourth wall and was super meta.
Just want to make sure that you don't think this is one of those cameo every week type of shows. Well, except Bruce. And Blonsky. And Wong.
She spent all this time becoming a lawyer, and this idea of being a superhero is not appealing to her.
Being a superhero is a trial by fire.
Oh, I'm not a superhero. I just want to be a normal, anonymous lawyer.
There is no going back to what you were before. Who's gonna protect the world if not people like you?
This is expanding the definition of what a Marvel Studios production can be.
This is a radical, revolutionary show.
Can we get some shots, please? It's an emergency.
Welcome back, everyone. This will be my brand new She-Hulk trailer video. There's a whole bunch of Easter eggs. I know a bunch of you are asking about what's going on with Ghost Rider during the trailer. Don't worry, I'll explain what's up with that, because it's a bit of an in-universe joke that they're having because of all the different trials that they're having in each of the episodes, which is where all the cameos are coming from. I will be doing videos for all the episodes. Be sure to subscribe to get them all. They're going to be starting really soon. But just starting with the big stuff here first, they reveal what her new origin story is going to be inside the MCU. So you see her crash there with a version of Bruce Banner. His arm is in the sling, so like his arm is still hurt like it was after the Shang-Chi post-credit scene. Still damaged from using the Infinity Gauntlet during Avengers Endgame. He's also still in Banner form. But it seems like what happens is they get into a car accident somehow, their car goes off the road, and then his gamma-infused blood mixes with her blood, accidentally contaminating her, giving her the powers of the Hulk. Like, the gamma-infused blood slowly takes over her normal blood. In the original version in the comics, it was actually a trial that she was in the middle of. She was busy prosecuting the mob. They put out a hit on her and unsuccessfully tried to kill her. She was sent to the hospital, and the only person who had compatible blood who was nearby was Bruce Banner, her cousin. But also because he had the gamma-infused blood, when he gave her the transfusion to save her life, that gave her the powers of the Hulk. While she was recuperating in the hospital, the mob tried to come finish the job and kill her again, and that's when her powers activated and she transformed into the She-Hulk for the first time. It sounds like there's just going to be a twist on that in the series, where she gets into an accident with him, gets infused with his gamma blood, and then something happens to her later where she just transforms without realizing what's happened. And then she goes to him to learn how to handle her powers. So this just confirms where it takes place in the timeline after the events of the Shang-Chi movie. Now that we know that all the scenes of them training with his arm being healed happen after this accident, his arm isn't in the sling anymore. A lot of you asking, how did that happen? How did his arm heal? Why didn't it do that before? That probably has something to do with their accident and his training with her. Like, through the course of the first couple episodes, they'll explain how his arm heals. If you're not a longtime Hulk comic book reader too, the whole idea of his gamma powers is that they're nearly limitless. Like, there are more powerful versions of the Hulk. Like, there's the version of the Hulk that becomes the Herald of Galactus and gets the power cosmic. World Breaker Hulk is more powerful than any of the versions we've seen in the MCU so far. And it's all just a function of his rage. Like, how angry can you possibly get? And theoretically, the idea is that it's limitless. And the idea the more powerful they get, the more their rage scales, the quicker they heal damage like this. So like the Professor Hulk version is a less powerful version of the Hulk than the Incredible Hulk version, like full Hulk version. He could naturally increase his power and eventually heal damage on this level. Like during the Immortal Hulk, there's a version of him fighting a version of the One Below, which is sort of like the opposite of the One Above All, the one true god of the Marvel Universe, making him kind of like the one true devil or one true villain of the Marvel Universe. More like a cosmic entity on a higher order than characters like Mephisto and the other Hell Lords, like the different characters that you would associate in Marvel Comics with the Christian ideal of the devil. They have the big training montage. It sounds like that's going to be a big part of the early episodes. When they're on his special island and he does that special attack where he slaps his hands together, that's actually from the Incredible Hulk. There are multiple references to the Edward Norton Incredible Hulk during the series, most of them coming through the Abomination's character in all of his scenes, because he's literally the same version of the Abomination from the Incredible Hulk movie with the Edward Norton Hulk. And the only reason why they changed his appearance in present day, I talked about this during my Shang-Chi videos because of the big Abomination and Wong scene, is they've just teased that his gamma transformation over time has evolved, and now he looks more accurate to the comic book version of Abomination. Comic book Abomination always looked like this. The reason why they didn't make him look like this during Incredible Hulk is just because when they were releasing that, it was so early in Marvel Phase 1, they were so gun-shy about doing weird stuff, they wanted his face to look more human. Now they're totally not afraid of doing weird stuff, so of course they're just going to do a more comic book accurate version. Also at the beginning here, when she does that scream pose where she's yelling at the Hulk after she attacks him, that's meant to be a reference to the Savage She-Hulk in the comic book covers. They have more of her fourth wall breaking scenes, like there's a big one in the trailer where she directly references all the week-to-week cameo scenes, then showing you the jokey Deadpool-type tone of her fourth wall breaks. She takes back her own joke like, oh, wait a minute, except for the Bruce Banner Hulk cameo scene, Abomination, all the Wong, all the Daredevil. Obviously, that's just the beginning. Those aren't the only cameos during the series. For those of you also asking about the fourth wall breaking, she's not copying Deadpool because She-Hulk actually broke the fourth wall many, many years before Deadpool was ever known for breaking the fourth wall. So technically, Deadpool would be copying her. But the other big reveal is that the Emil Blonsky Abomination is currently working, it seems like, or has been working as a self-help guru holding seminars that it seems like are targeted at most of the supervillain and superhero community because you see Titania at one of them. We'll see if this is mostly a front and he's just pretending to be good. Like, he's been working with Wong, so it seems like he's been trying to learn to control his transformations. But I think we all expect him to be recruited by Val into the Thunderbolts, but the Thunderbolts movie isn't coming till like the end of Marvel Phase 5, so it's going to be a while before we actually see that team come together. But I think we're all expecting to see like a scene at the end of the series where she shows up and is like, hey, I'm putting together a team. If you look on the left side in the background here too, the Abomaste poster is probably a reference to the Abomination name and what he just calls his technique for self-help and meditation that he's developed. The other big Easter egg that people are talking about here, there are like a lot more Wong scenes inside this magic club, inside this theater-looking room, where you see what looks like a Ghost Rider Easter egg, because just based on reports about the series, Wong is actually suing this magician character you see in court for being a charlatan, like Wong is actually suing him. And that's why Wong is in the series, but when you see the poster up in front of his stage, like where he gives his performances, you see that it says Donnie Blaze, which is meant to be a clever wink at Johnny Blaze. And they did a lot of work during Doctor Strange 2 to sort of set up the supernatural lore inside the MCU in a much deeper way. The idea of how these other dimensions like the Hell Dimension, Mephisto's Dimension, Ghost Rider as a character can actually exist. Because they talk about the Darkhold, they talk about the souls of the damned, you see them, Doctor Strange uses them to create a cloak of levitation. You hear the souls of the damned start coming for him, saying that he's going to be cursed because of what he's doing. Working with this type of magic is forbidden and it carries a cost. Most of the consequences of that they'll probably deal with in Doctor Strange 3, they'll tease in some of the other supernatural projects. Marvel Studios just did trademark the Midnight Suns name, so it sounds like they plan on doing an actual Midnight Suns project at some point, but it might be like Marvel Phase 7 before they have time to do that, because we already know what all the projects during Marvel Phase 5 the next couple of years, and Marvel Phase 6 after that, even though there's some mystery dates here, we know what most of those are. They don't really have room for a Midnight Suns movie or Disney Plus series. The only real way to fit them in during Marvel Phase 6 would be to do them in a version of Doctor Strange 3, because I think that's part of the idea leading up to the version of Avengers 5 Kang War and Avengers 6 Secret Wars. They'll probably want to pay that off in Doctor Strange 3 before Avengers 5 happens. They also had that Hell universe that they passed through when they were going through the different universes, and it looks like it was just meant to be a universe where Mephisto or one of the other Hell Lords had taken over the entire universe and transformed it into a version of Hell. For those of you all reaching for more Mephisto references, sounds like they're slowly heading in that direction. Because you can't really do a version of Ghost Rider's origin story unless you just radically change his backstory with Mephisto. But this doesn't mean that actual Ghost Rider is going to cameo during the She-Hulk series. It just means it's a clever reference to the Ghost Rider character. Recently, Ryan Gosling also said of all characters, he actually wanted to be a version of Ghost Rider. So there are like 3 or 4 different huge actors that everybody really wants to play a version of Ghost Rider in the MCU. Any one of them would do a great job. During Comic-Con, Tatiana Maslany also talked about a really cool Daredevil scene she had. I think it's supposed to be a couple episodes, like it's not just like one small moment during a single episode, it's a little bit more than that. The way she teased it, there'll be a cameo scene where they're both in the courtroom acting as lawyers like it's Matt Murdock with She-Hulk, and then later another separate scene with them as Daredevil and She-Hulk together. The episodes are starting really soon, so be sure to enable alerts for my channel so you don't miss that. There's going to be a lot of big stuff dropping really soon. And I got a couple other trailer videos that I'm working on. My next big one will be for the Guardians of the Galaxy Comic-Con trailer in Adam Warlock. While you wait for everything, everyone click here for my full Black Panther Wakanda Forever trailer video and Easter eggs, and click here for my brand new Ant-Man 3 trailer and Avengers 5 Kang Dynasty video. Thank you so much for watching. Everyone stay safe. I'll see you guys in the next one.